Okay, you're wondering how you can connect with fellow inventors because you know how important building those relationships can be. Watch this video because I'm going to show you how to connect with your fellow inventors. Okay, everybody, Stephen Keys here. I'm back with inventRightTV, and I have a very special guest today that's going to talk about how to connect us inventors together because we need to know each other. Misha, thank you for coming on inventRightTV. How are you?
Doing very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, let's start out. You've got a very interesting career. And I want you to talk a little bit about yourself because you were kind of a corporate inventor and you jumped out to be kind of a solo inventor. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I like to describe myself as an entrepreneur, basically innovating within large corporations. So I've done that for most of my career, and I've worked for companies like Bank of America, Wells Fargo Bank, MasterCard, and ADP. And interestingly enough, I did not have the title of inventor. It was always like I would hold like corporate roles in technology or in specific lines of businesses. Innovation was interestingly a byproduct of what I was doing. And along the way, started filing patents, and I never considered myself to be an inventor. I think like the year was, I believe, 2007. So there was this, like a Bank of America competition where they had an Inventor of the Year role, and at that time it was based on the number of patents you filed in a year. And I ended up getting the Inventor of the Year runner-up in 2007. And then I figured, hey, I don't want to be a runner-up. So I did that again in 2008 and made sure that I was the Inventor of the Year. So, that's kind of like, when I figured, you know what, I think I can call myself an inventor now. And then
Wow.
since then, went on to other roles. And so right now, I kind of like, founded the IDiyas because one of the
Yeah,
things
I
I,
want to get to that in just a minute.
wait,
I'm going to get to that. All right, we'll get to
sure,
that.
sure.
But before we talk about what you're doing now, because I think it's fascinating, I want to know a little bit about some of your inventions because they're probably not like these type of inventions behind me. They're probably a little bit different, are they?
Yeah, definitely so. So some of the inventions, for example, that I have patents on would be like an ATM machine, right? So when you think about it, with an ATM machine, you still have a token, which is your card, because you're inserting your debit card and the PIN number. And some of the innovations that we have is, we came to the world naked, right? Why do we
All right.
need a token, right? So in this particular instance, it's actually using your iris. So basically it's pairing, who you are with what you know. Right. So in essence, it's basically it knows you're Stephen, kind of like based on your iris scan, and it's going to ask you to enter a passphrase. Right. So in this
Oh,
particular case, it's completely tokenless. And the
yeah.
advantage of future ATMs being tokenless, when you think about it, nobody can steal that from you. Okay, so that's the beautiful thing about it. And so, you can have phishing, you can have any of those challenges with ATMs.
Okay. All right. You're working in corporate America. Why did you decide to like take the leap and jump out to do what you're doing? And we're going to talk about your new company here. But what was it about it? How was it nerve wracking? What motivated you to jump out of corporate America?
Well, again, corporate America has been amazing for me. I mean, I've spent the bulk of my career, but in general, like think about like a Steve Jobs of Apple Computer or like an Elon Musk of Tesla and many of his other companies, right? We always associate that these are the folks that have created it, but one thing that we never quite follow is that there's so many other people behind them, right, that have actually created many of these innovations. and they were basically not getting recognized. And so that was kind of like the reason why I have this platform to highlight them. And as you may know, so many of these inventors are centurions, meaning they've got 100 or more patents. And we celebrate them like every Thursday, like in my newsletter.
Okay.
So the
All right,
spotlight's
let's
on them.
talk about what you've done. Your new company, your company's called IDiyas, correct?
Yes.
And it's all about shining the light on inventors, connecting with inventors. Tell us a little bit more about what you're doing now, because what's really remarkable, we'll talk about the badges, because I have a badge. I'm really proud of my badge. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your company, IDiyas.
Sure, sure. So, as a prolific inventor, and hopefully I can call myself one, since I've got 90 some issued patents to my name so far. Hopefully, I'll become a centurion over the next couple of years or so. But one of the things that I noticed from working in various companies, that more and more, most innovations tend to be done by prolific inventors, by the way, right? Now, if we can connect two prolific inventors together, and even invite them like at a Starbucks coffee or lunch or dinner, many more innovations are going to be born. Now what I'm trying to do is, if you're to Google as an example, how many inventors are there? Or even Google, how many inventors are there with a USPTO patent? You won't get an answer. Google did not solve for that. USPTO did not solve for that because it was actually a very hard problem to solve when you think about it, right? And the reason for that is we folks, we are very mobile. We change residences. We also change companies. So how do I know this John of Fremont, California is the same John that's now living in Chattanooga, Tennessee, right? And so the way we actually solved this was, and as you know, more and more of these innovations right now are not solo innovations, right? They're actually done by a group of people. And once an inventor has identified a good, solid person to work with, that journey tends to span several decades, by the way, right? So, like in my case, I used to live in California. I moved to North Carolina. But like a lot of the folks that I still innovate with my fellow collaborators, by the way, right? So that's where I came up with this algorithm, which is nothing more than birds of the same feather flock together, right? So you keep that fixed. And that's how we were able to know that Misha of Fremont, California is the same as Misha of Charlotte, North Carolina. But the inventor badge that you're referring to, when we first came up with it, the idea was to benchmark the prolificity of the person. So, and this is an interesting statistic, by the way. Within IDiyas, we are tracking 260,000 plus cities all over the world. Okay, so what we have done, you can enter any city in the world, and immediately you're going to be finding all the inventors in descending order of prolificity. Okay, so now think about it. And where we've actually kind of like have the LinkedIn connection if we had access to that. And so the idea would be like, hey, pick up a fellow inventor in your fellow city and say, hey, by the way, I noticed like you're number one in the city. Can we do coffee, right? And you'll be very surprised. These same people, they'd be glad to share their knowledge with you, right? I've done that myself. And it's like, and number one, they like the fact that you're recognizing them, and they probably did not even know that they were number one in their respect in that particular city. But the inventor badge also ended up being my best data quality tool. Okay, and let me share with you. So I have this prolific inventor of Samsung. So he was working in Seoul, South Korea for many years, and then he moved to Bengaluru, India. He basically sent me an email saying, "Oh, by the way, I'm the same guy. Can I merge the profiles?" Okay. So the inventor badge, as you know, we have this human tendency to rank as high as possible. Right, so and that's exactly like in your case, you're going to see like your ranking within the particular city you live in, Nevada, the state level ranking and the country level ranking and the world ranking as well. So like in my case right now, I'm the number 5 most prolific inventor in Charlotte, North Carolina. I think I'm probably 168 or something in North Carolina, probably 7,000 or 8,000 in the United States, and about 11,000 in the world, right? And part of this is also to give you a number to go after so that you can increase your prolificity, and along the way you're also meeting more interesting people. So that's kind of like my story.
Well, you know what's really interesting? Thank you for sharing that. What's really interesting to me about this is that most inventors probably don't know other inventors. It's
They
not
don't.
like it's not like I'm going to meet them at the local Starbucks or in a grocery store. And most of us really would like to know each other, build a relationship because we have the same love for something and we can
Yes.
learn from each other, but we don't know the other person exists. So why hasn't this been done before?
Well, the problem was actually kind of like, pretty hard, as I mentioned earlier, because we're mobile, right? And we also kind of like, work in various companies. We get busy in our own lives. And it's almost like you have to carve out the time to kind of like, make this happen. And when you think about it, like, I mean, most companies don't really have a title called inventor, right? Per se, much like me, it was a byproduct. So that was something that I kind of like, wanted to spotlight. And in fact, like even on my website, you could type in subject matter expertise, and we will rank you based on your, for example, we could rank the most prolific inventors by artificial intelligence, and other topics as well.
So how do I get a badge? Okay, I've got the badge. I was very proud of that badge. How do I do it? We're going to have a lot of information down below where people can find you, they can connect, and they can be part of your world. But is it hard to get a badge? I mean, how
Oh
does that
no.
work?
So the way it works is if you have an issued USPTO patent, you could type your name, and if we have your picture, you're going to have that inventor badge with your picture on it. Or if you have filed a patent, so this is like a patent pending, we'll basically call it like a rising inventor badge, meaning that you
Okay,
haven't actually gotten a issued patent, but it's on its way. And
well,
so you
that's
can
nice.
have those badges that way. And then, of course, even patent attorneys have badges as well, because patent attorneys are very, very important in the invention ecosystem. So, and it's very interesting, right? So we know, I think like there is about 36,000 active patent attorneys. But until now, we never knew how many inventors we have. But now, thanks to IDiyas, there's 5.5 million inventors.
That's crazy. What about design patents? Can I still
Yes.
get a badge if I have a design patent?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So actually, on the inventor badge, we will actually tell you the type of patents you have. So there are some people that actually have all three, by the way. There are not too many of those. So you can have a
Okay,
plant patent, a design patent, as well as a utility patent. But most patents, as you know, like 91% plus, tend to be of the utility kind.
got it. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your goals or anything that you'd like to share with our audience now about your company ideas?
Sure. We also have like a newsletter that I believe is probably the fastest growing in the invention innovation ecosystem. January 1st of 2024, we had 0 subscribers. And we ended 2024 with over 36,000, right? So 0 to
Oh,
36,000,
okay.
which was kind of amazing. Now we have just crossed 37,000. And
Okay.
so I would probably kind of like, suggest reading those articles because we spotlight an inventor each week. And there are many,
Okay.
many very, very interesting stories that are inspiring. So it's
Nice.
kind of like, it's basically trying to get that art of storytelling a little bit better so that inventors can kind of like, see that, like a lot of folks may think, oh, you know what, he's inventing or she's inventing and they're doing a wonderful job. But again, it's a culmination of several years worth of effort, right? It's not like, you get the right solution right away. There's a lot of iteration that goes along with it. So, and part of it is like also sharing the struggles
Okay.
of the invention process as well.
That's wonderful. Okay, you mentioned you have a YouTube channel. Let's talk about that for just a minute.
Yes. So the YouTube channel, we actually post videos on inventions, innovations. We also have some shorts where we are basically talking about today in patent history. So we actually kind of like, are also taking folks to the journey. Like, for example, next Tuesday when we post, next Tuesday is kind of like, interesting. That was when the first ambulance was born, by the way, in the US. And there's a patent around that. And believe it or not, the first ambulance was actually kind of like, on horses, interestingly enough. So just think about the bumpy journey. And again, since then, we actually have like, ambulances with sirens as we know now. So we talk about those type of innovations and inventions, and part of the YouTube audience is to spur the new generation, the younger generation.
Perfect. You had also mentioned you have a lot of people coming to your website, right? I mean,
Yes.
how many people are coming there daily?
So, so the range is between 500 to 1,800 plus, like on a daily basis. So weekends, the volume is trending more towards the 500, and typically Tuesdays and Thursdays we tend to do very, very well because Tuesday is when our invention newsletter kind of like goes out, and Thursday is where we celebrate the centurions. So I think the newsletter definitely has something to do with pulling in that traffic.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. So, Misha, thank you for coming on InventRight TV. I want to tell everybody, subscribe to this newsletter if you want to learn more about the ups and downs, if you want to connect with other inventors, if you want to be part of this world. All the information is going to be down below. Be part of it. Subscribe. Misha, thank you so much for coming on InventRight TV.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, you've got a great product idea and you're not quite sure what to do. Or maybe you've got inventory in your garage because you were selling your product on Amazon and you don't want to continue doing it, but you want someone to help you license your idea to a company to bring it to market for you. We have a new program that's called Gateway, where we do all the work for you. We'll find the right companies and the right people to make sure your product is pitched correctly to get the licensing deal. This new program is called Gateway. If you're interested, please check it out.